Today is Friday, 2023. So I'm here in the office. I am just I was just on YouTube right now. This very moment. Marco was here a little bit ago. We were actually talking about men and women. It's so stupid. We start arguing like over like political issues and stuff, but like men and women's issues, but we get so mad at each other, like, because he's so like against what I'm saying about women. Like right now we were talking about women suffering more than, well, men and women, like, who suffered more throughout history. Obviously I think women have, and he was saying men because he thinks men like have had it hard. Basically I think like his whole argument of men like having had to suffer more is because they've kept their emotions in pretty much more than women, because women um are more prone to, emotional outbursts and stuff, and on average, it is, more likely to happen, and we have our genuine scientific reasons for that, like our hormones, periods and stuff. Those increase certain hormones within our body that trigger emotional outbursts, because as I've said before in other videos, our hormones have a lot to do with our emotions. Not just our emotions, but our whole, like, wellness and health within our body, and how it functions, the ease at which it functions and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to talk about what we were talking about, because I hate that we get so mad, and I started crying because he was like telling me, like, that how do women have it harder, because I let him talk for like forever, just telling me all his reasonings of why, men have suffered more. And I was just listening, just letting him let it all out, so when I talked he would fucking listen, because then I interrupt him to make a point, because I already know what he's gonna say most of the time, or the point he's trying to make. And I'm just like, just let him talk, and then by the time I come around, I'm already all fucking wound up and shit. So when he asked me, like, well, how do you suffer more? Like, how are you suffering more now? And I just started crying, and I was like, we're literally like having our scholarships stripped from us, opportunities, job opportunities that, should be for women only. They're being taken from us. They're being hijacked by men. They're coming into our sports, our categories, a physical nature where men are gonna obviously have the upper advantage, and we're not gonna have a fucking, you know, chance in hell to give them a run for their money. Or maybe there might be some women, that can, but men are gonna be the dominating ones the majority of the time, and they have been already in a lot of events like weightlifting and running and swimming, and you know all those types of. They're gonna go into gymnastics too if they haven't already, and start dominating there. But it's just ridiculous, like how he doesn't see how that's like obviously like taking away from us, and we're gonna have to struggle more. We're gonna have to suffer more, because of that. And yeah, he's he still thinks men have suffered more only because men have been, forced over time to hold in their emotions and stuff. But uh, men are built differently. Their bodies are built differently to handle emotion a different way. So it's easier for men to hold things in, or to control themselves and what they say and whatnot. For the most part, not all men obviously are like that, but we're talking about generalizations here, averages. On average, yes, they do. I just really think we need to just come together and stop bickering about it and just try to understand the other's perspective without letting it get us all riled up. And it's hard, especially when you feel like you're not being heard. Because that's how I felt. I felt like I wasn't being heard. And, you know, I hate that I start getting like that, but it gets me so angry. Because men might have been the ones who have had to hold in their emotions, more often than women and whatnot because of the environments that men grew up in throughout history and the environments women grew up in. We didn't have to go off to war and, be in groups with other men where we couldn't show any weakness and, be vulnerable in any way. Most of the time, women had each other and were able to be vulnerable to each other. In that sense, I understand what he's saying, but like I said, and like he doesn't understand, it's men right now who are the ones that control the world on the narrative scale, on the financial scale, the global scale, power scale. Yes, there's some women in there around the world, but if we're talking about the whole planet, each country, each dictator, each government, you will find that it's a vast majority of men that are at the heads of these things. It's rare when you have women. Yes, they're there. We are there, and most of these women are very masculine in nature. Anyways, they're very aggressive and non-emotional. Very hard, stubborn, whatever. They have all those men qualities that make them strong and adaptable. And so that's why I still say it's controlled by men. It's masculine energy. It's men. And women are the ones that have been suffering more. The feminine energy, the soft energy on this planet has been suffering more throughout all of history. Suffering in silence. And, out loud, obviously, but mostly in silence, on our own, in our quiet corners, with our groups, where no one can hear, to not disturb anyone. Because we're not built like men, and we can't hold it in like men. Especially when we're on our fucking periods and those hormones are just... We can't. We just can't. It's not easy for us like it is for men to do it. It's not as easy. So, in that sense, I say yes, we have been suffering more than men. And I'm fucking tired of it. Tired of not even being recognized for that. Just because men do suffer too. We all suffer. Everyone suffers here. It's a fucked up planet. That's what happens when you live on a fucked up planet.